Well, hello there, you beautiful people. We now have a Patreon for our podcast. You can subscribe to it in the link on our channel or down in the description. We have bonus episodes for the patrons and also a Discord that you can join once you sign up. We really appreciate you supporting this channel, but we won't keep any paywalls. So all the regular episodes are still available on the channel as usual, but you get some extra stuff if you choose to support us. Thank you very much. Well, good evening, shippers, aka crewmates, and welcome to the Shipped Podcast. I'm doing this with my co-host, One Topic, and my name is
Hello.
The Click. But today, we have a very special guest with us. Would you like to introduce yourself to the lovely squad fam at home?
My name is MistaGG. I'm a YouTube content creator, and I'm very blessed to be on this podcast today.
Hey, Gigi.
Hey, we're very blessed to have you, man. Very blessed to have you.
I'm actually pretty stoked. I've been following your stuff for a while. I've really enjoyed your breakdowns of different movies. Even my partner and I were watching some of your clips last night. One of them that we really got into. Do you remember how many times you had to record different jokes for the Christmas tree lights for Ouija?
For the Christmas...
How
many jokes I had? Yeah. Where I just go off with like a few of them, yeah.
Exactly.
I thought of a lot, but only a few made the cut.
Really? Because there were like 7 in there. That's so funny. Yeah, we had like general questions about, what your thoughts were basically on commentary on horror movies and what would make a good horror movie. Click, I think you had like a more fleshed out version of that question.
Yes. So I think all of us kind of like horror movies. At least I know I do. I played a lot of horror games in my past, watched horror movies. My girlfriend loves horror movies, but she hates them because she always has nightmares. So, of course, I end up being the pillow. But there are a lot of videos on YouTube about what makes a horror movie bad. And I think we all went on our personal rants about it. But what would you say make a horror film good? What do you think are some qualities that are required for a horror film to be like a real zinger, something you can really enjoy and get into?
Mm-hmm. I think this is going to sound very overly simplified, but I like to feel somewhat uncomfortable, like uneasy, during and after a horror movie. Where, I don't know, because like a lot of the times with shitty horror movies, they often fail to scare you in every kind of way. Maybe they rely on jump scares and they get you to jump 1 or 2 times, but that's worth dick. So, it's actually, I don't know. I feel like when I have this weird feeling inside of me where like, I guess fear, if you wanted to put it in a certain type of way, it matters. It's very oversimplified, but it's not easy to achieve.
No, I think I know what you mean. I used to, the kind of feeling you have when you wake up from a nightmare and you can't go back to sleep. You still have that fear pumping in your veins. Mm-hmm. And I think one thing I used to really love about horror, have you played a game called Amnesia, The Dark Descent?
I've only seen gameplay of it from the man upstairs, PewDiePie, but I've never played it myself.
Yeah, he's one of the smaller channels on YouTube, by the way, for anybody watching, so it's a bit of a niche.
You might have heard of him. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but what I loved about that game, I used to play that with a couple of friends of mine, and we were like, how old were we? 18, 19 when it was released, and we were 4 guys sitting in the same room trying to play through it, and we would switch people who would play it because our nerves couldn't deal with it. It was the first person gets so scared that we're just shaking, like, I can't do this anymore, and then we went to the back of the room, next guy jumps in, like, takes over, like, and the thing that game did so well was that it created this abhorrent atmosphere. And you could kind of see, for example, a monster walk by the hallway, like a fair distance in front of you. So you didn't really see it, but you knew it was there, crawling with you somewhere around these dungeons. And just that atmosphere made it so scary. And that's something that I really love about horror, that atmosphere. Mm-hmm. It's not about the oogie boogie boogie jump scare.
Yeah, there was a horror movie that I feel is similar to that game that I really enjoyed. I don't know if it was as well received generally, but It Follows. I loved that in theaters. I love that it couldn't really decide on what time frame it was in. It couldn't decide if it was in the past or the present. The monster itself was just like, it will always come after you, but at a very slow pace. It will never stop walking towards you. And it was such a good concept because kids don't really, they weren't that imaginative for how to get away from it. It was mostly just like, let's drive a really far distance and then let's hope we're good. But then it always catches up to them. It was the ominous threat of something that you can see, but as soon as you see it, you know you're going to die. So even though it showed, quote unquote, the monster, it still was quite a mystery. Is that one that you've seen yet, GG?
I I put it on to watch it, and then I fell asleep. Not because it was a piece of shit or anything, but I was just genuinely tired. I was like, oh yeah, I've heard good things about this movie, and then just flatlined, and I never put it on again.
Oh,
that's my bad. That's my bad.
That's a good marketing bit. So scary that you pass out.
It starts out in a really unique one shot. It has one camera going for something like 3 minutes, and it is such an intense opening scene with like such a slow build. I'd recommend checking it out. Anyone in the audience who wants a good horror movie, It Follows is pretty good. Well, how do you feel about B horrors? You know, like a horror movie without so much of the horror aspect. How do they rank with you?
You mean like the like the midnight Netflix films, or what exactly are you referring to?
Oh yeah, like a good bad horror movie. What makes a good bad horror movie?
Something that brings something to the table other than horror. I guess you just kind of said it. Like I reviewed a movie called The Ginger Dead Man, which is technically a horror, but it's a horror comedy. And the comedy aspect is amazing. It's Gary Busey becoming a fucking
Gary
pastry.
Busey, yeah.
And it's amazing, you know? It's supposed to be a horror movie, but everything else is the best part about it.
Oh my god,
have you seen Feast?
No, it does not ring a bell.
It's my favorite B horror trilogy of all time.
Trilogy,
it takes... Yes, it takes every horror trope that you could possibly think of, like the hero, the damsel in distress, and it flips it on its head throughout the entire film. So everyone you think it's like, oh, that guy's gonna live, he's gone. Oh, she's gone. And then the monsters are just, they completely act differently than you'd expect. I'd recommend it. It's one of those, it's so bad that it's good. It has, the first one has Jason Mewes in it, for example, you know, like Jay and Silent Bob. And, well worth it if it's on your list. If you want like a bad, great movie, all three measure up for different reasons.
I kind of have a mathematical theory for this. You know,
Do
you know
you?
how numbers can be positive and negative, but if you take two negative numbers and multiply them, it becomes positive. It's kind of like if you have a movie that's so bad it's double negative, it actually becomes good. It's kind of the same thing with jokes. You know, a pun that's so bad that it kind of makes you laugh.
Yeah, there you go.
Too
That's
many
perfect.
of those jokes. What inspired you to jump on so many podcasts lately, Gigi?
I've always declined podcast invitations, and so it's been kind of on my mind for a while, especially in quarantine, everyone being at home. Just like, you know what, I want to run like a podcast gauntlet. Everybody who wants me on their podcast, fuck it, it's an automatic yes. Let me try and schedule it out, even though I've been struggling with that. I'm like double booking people at the same time. I don't realize it. There's two people reaching out to me like, hey, you ready? And I'm like, oh, fuck, no. Someone's got to take the L here, guys. But,
Oh my god.
no, it's been fun so far, dude. It's been fun so far.
You had like 80
so if
plus
any-
replies. That was really cool.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I noticed some
Okay,
people
so yeah,
with
if-
very
if-
small audiences and very large audiences both reach out, and it was really cool to see you across the spectrum, kind of like join hands with everyone and show that regardless of sub count, you know, you're just happy to talk to different creators.
Nice little kumbaya in this tough time.
Exactly.
Indeed, it's very nice, but it's also a very good excuse for us because if, you know, for example, I tell a joke that doesn't fly, we can just assume you're on another podcast in the background at the same time. So it's kinda like, yeah.
What are the kind
So
of
how-
YouTube channels that... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna ask, how many podcasts do you think you're gonna do total until all this is over?
Well, what I kind of did to not completely overwhelm myself is I kept up with the replies for a certain amount of time, and then I just stopped looking at them after, I think, like 2 days or something, because I kept getting notifications, so I just muted that thread. I should probably delete that tweet, honestly. But, no, I was just like, okay, I don't want to do... Because I still got to work, you know. I still got to come up with main channel content and shit like that. If I'm doing this, I mean, literally, this whole work day is basically canceled in a way because I'm just doing podcasts all day. So I don't want to make that a habit because I've already haven't uploaded for a good amount of time and everyone's forgotten about me. So I need to get back on that.
Yeah, the algorithm is ruthless when it comes to regular uploads.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And now I'm getting all these messages and DMs like, hey, dude, you okay? Like, is everything all right? Yeah, I'm fine.
Well, you're trying to juggle
I have
a few channels, right? You've got your main channel, you've got your dubs channel.
It just got some editors in line for the second channel, so hopefully that can help the output of
Very
things.
cool.
Oh, nice. Oh, that is so helpful. That makes a big difference.
Yeah, we started the podcast as a bit of a collaborative project. Click's got a funny story behind that, why it originally started, but essentially he had some downtime around December because what happened Christmas Day there, Click?
Yeah, so the day before Christmas, I woke up at 4 a.m. in the morning. It was a couple of my YouTube friends. Illuminati asked me, he does, name dropping people because I'm cool. And they were calling me and saying like, hey man, you need to pick up. And I'm like, come on guys, you know my time zone. I mean, don't be ridiculous. And they're like, no, man, your channel is gone. Wait, what? So I check my phone and my channel is gone. My channel page is gone. It says, nope, can't find the page. Sorry. Like, wait, what's going on? So I go into my emails and apparently YouTube has deleted my channel because of pornography. And I mean, a lot of people say, obviously I do, sexy content, of course, but pornography.
Gigi doesn't have context for this. He reads meme posts on his main channel. So we react to Reddit posts on our main. I do a little bit more commentary. Click does more of a production behind it.
Oh, okay, I got it. The real like more spicy shit meme wise.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm a little more on the wholesome spectrum. I like creating positive spaces and talking a lot about positivity and happiness and coming together and whatnot. And Click is just throwing a Molotov in the mix. So he got a bad reviewer around the time when everyone's on holiday, so they couldn't check out his channel for 3 weeks or something. Click 2.5 weeks.
It was down for almost 3 weeks, and luckily it came back on. But I mean, man, that was a scare. And it was a week after I went full time. So I actually I quit my job 1 week before that. And the day before Christmas, it's like, hey, man, your channel's gone. It's like, oh, this was I went from having 2 good jobs to having no jobs. This was, wow.
So while he's down in the dumps, I talked him into a little bit, convincing him into working on a project with me. It's like, hey, while you're waiting on that, let's just get something else going and we can focus our energy on that. And that's the birth of the Shipped podcast, because everyone was shipping us anyways. So we figured, why not?
Still do.
They still do. Massively. Yeah, the fan art of us is very affectionate.
So
I'll say that much.
So you took advantage of a man down on his luck.
Oh, oof. I don't know if you know this. This guy, he's like 3 times more successful than I am, so there's no advantage.
I don't want to lie. I'm not familiar with you guys. I mean, with all due respect, you guys are great people.
No, we don't expect it to be.
I'm assuming you came into this with zero knowledge, and it's kind of fun to fly with that.
Every podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, it makes it more fun. We can tell our story again and laugh about it. More content for us,
Yeah. What's your affiliation with Courage the Cowardly Dog there?
It's a show I watched when I was younger, and for some reason I had a love-hate relationship with it, where I was like, this is a great show. It's so different than whatever was on, but it's also terrifying. It leaves me with this dreadful feeling after I'm done watching it, and I don't like watching it in nighttime. But Courage the Cowardly Dog is iconic, and he's just a cool ass dude. This is just my movie. This is me inside.
It's so. It has a very special place in my heart, but it's very much one of those things that I hesitate revisiting. I've got such strong memories about it that as much as I want to go back and revisit it and rewatch it, I think it should kind of live with my brain that had no context for it at the time, and I should never see it again because it was very spooky. I did not like it, but I loved it at the same time. Yeah, I don't know. I just have one memory of his skin getting pulled off and this bone is underneath, and the old man not caring and the old lady not caring. It's just like, very spooky.
So how old were you when you watched this and got spooked out? Like 25 something?
Something like 50, 60, something like that.
60, okay, yeah, good. So it was a few years ago.
What's upcoming that you're looking forward to, Gigi? Whether it be a personal project or a movie in theaters or something.
Personal project wise, I'm working on a larger project here, which I hopefully can get out soon. Like I said, I just got a new PC, so I've been setting that up because I had to build it, and I need to get familiarized with different software now because I was using a MacBook this whole time.
Same.
So
yeah.
So now it's a larger movie review project of I'll just tell you guys what the movie is. Don't tell
Oh,
anybody.
okay.
But,
Okay.
it's
Secret.
a movie called.
Whisper it so nobody hears it.
Oh, sorry. It's called.
Yes.
This is the ASMR portion of the podcast.
Yeah. Welcome.
The
One Topic loves it.
the movie's called ABCs of Death. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it.
Oh, yes.
I don't think so.
You
I
have?
have. Yeah. Wow. That's a bit of a throwback.
Did you watch it?
I did.
Did you like it?
Ooh, this is a tricky question. Now let's see. Are you gonna be on the good side or bad side?
I approach a lot of things from an anthropological standpoint. It's good to understand things, but I don't think I had like a. Oh God, that's hard. It's been a while. I don't know. It's fine. What's your? Well, I guess no spoilers. But do you have a surface level takeaway that you want to share?
Well, there really isn't one because the way the movie is, it's an anthology of 26 different films, all from different directors.
Jesus Christ.
Of like a short films that have to do with death somehow revolve around that. And there's a lot of stinkers in there that were awfully disappointing. There's some meh ones, and there's actually a few that I very much enjoy. So I think it's a fun thing to discuss, because you get to shit on the bad ones. You get to talk about these gems in there, and then you kind of just skip over the other ones that are just there.
Dude, I agree. I've always wanted to do that for a dive into VHS. I want to react to some longer content, especially talk about some of my favorite and least favorite films and TV shows, especially from when I was a kid. There were some amazing things on Teletoon back then that would not fly today.
Is Teletoon Canadian?
Oh.
Yep.
Maybe.
Feel free to
It was like
discourage
Nickelodeon.
my stupid question. It's so stupid.
So, are you familiar with Nickelodeon?
I'll be leaving now. Bye, guys. No, I'm familiar with Nickelodeon. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like that. So, Aqua Teen Hunger Force would be a thing that would be like Teletoon at night. Venture Bros would be Teletoon at night.
So like Adult Swim?
Yeah, it was like an early Adult Swim, but it was on a children's channel. It just happened to happen at nighttime.
Gotcha.
Oh, when all the children were supposed to be asleep.
Oh yeah, I did not sleep.
Were you
even
a
back
naughty
then.
boy and stayed up?
No, you know my sleep schedule now, Click. Like it was the
You
same
don't
back
sleep.
then. I know.
Yeah, you don't sleep.
It's fine. I don't need it. Yeah. So
you do, but it's all good.
It's good. Please tell him. Jimmy. He needs it.
I mean, I'm the one to talk down to you because my sleep schedule's ass, but you do need it.
Well, I'm trying to collaborate with this guy, Click, over in Sweden, so his time zone's very different, and my sleep schedule already was quite thin, so I'm just kind of still coasting. I've only got like a few more years of youth left, so I might as well ride it out while I can.
I live in the future.
Enjoy that.
Yes, correct. You're like, what, 9 hours ahead of me?
Yes, it's not the best combination. You need to move into my basement, man.
Probably not going to do that, but I appreciate the offer.
No worries.
So, yeah, things are pretty crazy right now. I don't think anyone can move around.
No, take a boat across the Atlantic, something like that.
Probably not. They're not even allowing boats to move around as much.
No, like a rowboat, you just
Oh, I
steer
see.
the lady.
Oh, I
Yeah,
gotcha.
there you go.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Speaking of terrible ideas,
Smooth.
do you have a least favorite project that you've worked on that's still live on your channel?
Like I hate it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like not even audience hated it, just like something that you made, and then when you look back on it, you're like, why did I ever do that?
I mean, I'll tell you right now.
Oh.
I've unlisted and privated several videos by this point.
Really?
So I might have beaten you to the punch already. Yeah, no, I'm not that guy that leaves like, my 2016 video, and I'm like, yeah, you could see my upbringing, like humble beginnings. Like, no, I don't want you to see this shit. Let me get this off my chest.
Hi guys, I'm MistaGG, and this is my Minecraft review, and today we're gonna learn.
You forgot the when I did my first commentaries back in, can you imagine, 2009.
Click was actually a pretty well-known gamer YouTuber back in the day. Probably
Let's
around or
player.
before PewDiePie. I mean, you had some
around the
crossover
same
in
time,
audience.
yeah.
And
For
Yeah.
what?
Very much the same era.
For what game? Specifically.
Making Let's Play. Minecraft Amnesia was a popular one.
I think Amnesia was your big
the
one. I
horror
think
game.
recently you just hit, 8 million views on one of your Amnesia playthroughs?
No, not 8, like 2 million, but
Is
yeah.
it 2 million? I thought it was 8.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No. I wish that was kind of sweet, though. But no, it's been. To be fair, might not be that impressive. View counts could have been chugging views for like 10 years, but
Yeah,
still.
a view a day for that long, it'll get you there.
Yeah. But yeah, that was back in the day. But I remember the first commentaries I made. It was so. I still have some of them up on my channel. It's like, hey guys, welcome to this video.
Your voice
And
was
the
very
charisma-
different, yeah.
Yes, well, I was also quite a lot younger. But man, the charisma is just not there. It's so awkward. It's just like, hey guys, welcome to today we're gonna look at
On my side, before you blow up my eardrums there, Click. On my side, I was just using poorer equipment before. I think I've relatively stayed about the same. I used to use my voice in different jobs before, so I've relatively kept the same modulation and whatnot since back in the day. But my earlier videos were not edited as well. I think my editing's got a lot cleaner, but I've left them up because who cares? It's only been a year and a bit. But you've been around a lot longer than that, Gigi. When did you actually start your channel?
It's a great question. And that's all I got to say about that. No, I don't know.
I was
Half a decade
I was
or
creeping on your. I was creeping on your channel, and your account is really old. It's from like 2007 or something like that.
Yeah,
Really?
that was
Yeah.
a mistake. I want to make that
Oh.
clear. Because
Okay.
me being the ambitious little YouTuber was like, oh, okay, I have this really old account that has like 20 something subs. So I'm already, on the way to 100. Why would I take that away and start an entirely new channel? So I decided to try and build an entire career off of this channel. And then it comes to a point where you realize, as a little shit, I used to comment on a bunch of random videos.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
Oh, they're
Maybe-
finding your old comments.
Maybe people might find those comments. I found one of them.
Oh,
And thankfully, no one has found any more. I hope all those videos have been taken down.
Oh God.
But it's worrisome.
God.
Like my name, like as the backslash is still looking at my channel. It's youtube.com/user/00 Michael. Not MistaGG,
Oh.
because I was trying.
Oh,
it was
so
it
like
was a
real
really
names.
sick play on words for 007. I don't know if you guys picked that up, but
Oh,
my name's
you know what? I
Michael.
didn't.
00 Michael. I was an agent, And now I have to look
Oh,
at that every single time.
my God.
Click on my channel.
Oh, and you started this in
Well-
2007, so it was like, oh God, there's so many layers to this.
Yes, but you can still play on it. Nowadays you have Mr. GG instead, so you're still undercover, kind of. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. I like it.
I think-
I like it.
English is not his first language, so do excuse his humor when his
Thank you,
jokes
One
don't
Topic.
fly.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I'm like the yeah.
So
He describes me as the puppy who always pees on the carpet.
yeah, he's too cute to kick, but you can't like not punish him.
Thank you.
So just you can sit out for now. That's fine.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
So of the things that you've privated and or deleted,
Mm-hmm.
are there anything that floats to mind? Like any projects that, not even like going into detail, just like, do any of them bring up a memory, or have you like completely forgotten about them because it just doesn't matter to you?
Oh,
There's
no,
old things you don't even think about.
I mean, I remember a lot of them because when I first started, I was going for like skits and stuff. Excuse me, go for like skits because I thought that was the way, But
Okay.
skits quickly died out on YouTube where they were not gathering views like other content.
Yeah, that was like the Smosh kind of days.
Yeah.
Mm,
So
yeah.
that bombed. That didn't do well. And I actually, I kind of like some of my old videos. It's just that I feel like I'm presenting myself as a completely different person almost in those videos, and that's what's so fucking cringy to me. Because I'm all like pumped and like, guys, we gotta talk about this right here. This is just like, dude,
no.
why are you this guy? Like, I think I feel like
110 energy.
I just tried to replicate like what I saw. Like I would see like the angry Nintendo nerd just pop off on something, and I'm like, I can
right.
do that, guys. Look at this, and it's horrible, and that's why it's no longer there, and no one's ever gonna see it again.
Oh, jeez. Imagine trying to claw your way back from that, too, if you kept all those videos up and then people are having to match that old personality to your present personality. That would be... Oh, what a challenge.
Scrub that shit clean.
Yeah, I have other questions as well, Click, but I've been talking for a little while. Did you want to ask anything?
No, you're doing great. Go
Okay.
for it.
Oh.
Sometimes because the Discord connection is a little bit wonky, people always tell me to not interrupt him. But yeah, I don't know. I talk a little bit more, I guess.
No, I'm
Thanks,
just
Glenn,
kidding. I'm
thanks.
just kidding.
Play the meme. It's all good.
Yes.
Recently, you've been collaborating with some other YouTubers that I actually watch. You did some stuff with Amanda the Jedi. How did you guys get connected?
Amanda the Jedi, someone had told me about her because I don't know how familiar you guys are. There was like this whole like Chris Hansen situation going on, if you guys know about him at all, but I was covering it. Yeah, I was covering it, and then I know someone told me that this YouTuber named Amanda the Jedi had made a video also discussing it. So I went to go watch her video. I liked her video. The coverage was good. And then I saw that she also covers a lot of movies and stuff. And I kind of just saw that, subscribed, and she's great. Shout out Amanda the Jedi. So I reached out to her to collab because I was trying to finally
she's
do
fantastic.
a collaboration. Yeah.
And anyone who wants to subscribe to Amanda, who's watching the podcast right now, definitely subscribe to Amanda the Jedi. Super easy to
Go
find.
for it.
She's close to 100K.
She streams
Go
a
help
lot
her out.
on. Oh, she is now. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, her
Nice.
channel's been doing great.
I found her
Oh, amazing.
sometime early last year, and I commented on a couple of videos. She's the first person that ever liked and commented back to me on YouTube, and I felt so touched. It was well before I met Click or before the rest of the Reddit gang. And yeah, I followed her on Twitch and stuff, and sometimes I'll drop by and say hi, but she's great. I love her take on things. It's such raw honesty, and it's so bold in a way that a lot of other YouTubers probably wouldn't take on different subjects and things. Like it's definitely her personality where she'll just say everything she's thinking all at once, where other people might take a step back and say, you know what, it's just my opinion, I'm not so sure. There's no filter, and that's so cool. So yeah, there's some shout outs there. What are people that you want to collaborate with that you haven't yet, like people you'd love to connect with?
Oh, whoa. I just knocked out this podcast with you guys, so that was number one.
We're top on that list, yeah.
I don't know, dude. Just a lot of the creators I'm a fan of, I would love to collaborate. I don't see it falling through for the overwhelming majority, but just the content I watch, I would love to collaborate with any of these guys, honestly.
What's like a pie in the sky kind of creator that you'd love to collaborate with?
Oh, that's interesting.
Fuck. That's tough.
For myself,
Mr.
I'll be
Beast,
honest,
he's
you were
doing
on that
relatively
list.
well.
So when you sent out that
Oh.
tweet about the podcast, I was like, oh, heck yeah, I got to hit this guy up. And
The
then
topic
you
was so
responded, and I was
excited
like,
about.
oh my God, he wrote back.
I'm honored. Thank you.
Yeah, there were some other people as well. I know the Illuminati and Oz Media back in the day. I wanted to collaborate with them, and it was pretty cool that Click ended up getting me in touch with them. I've now collaborated with the Click. Slid into his DMs back in the day on Instagram to get connected, and it was kind of neat.
He was very, very seductive.
No. So there's been times where I've been able to connect with people, and they're just so much nicer than I expect. I almost expected people on YouTube to have like a really big expectation of those that they'd even deem worthy of communication, but everyone's kind of raw and real, and I really appreciate that.
I've thankfully ran into the same thing for most of the creators I've had some sort of contact with, to where as a smaller creator, I feel like you're not going to respond or you're not down for this in some sort of way. But I mean, as far as the ones I've talked to, nothing but nice. So
Yeah.
I'm happy.
That's
about
really
that.
cool. Do you have like a gang you usually work with on YouTube? Like you hang out with often, or is it more like occasionally for specific collabs and stuff?
No, dude, I'm the fucking outcast. You know, I don't have.
Oh, no.
I feel like I don't have like a click. I guess if you want to word it that way.
Oh,
I would
that's
love
kinda
to-
fun. I like that.
Hey, this guy. I like that. No, but seriously, I mean, I work with anybody as long as I'm a fan of you and we can make some good sauce together. I'm with it.
That's awesome. I noticed
I
that
like
you
sauce.
featured. I know that sometimes you feature clips of other creators in your videos. Do you find a lot of inspiration from other channels that talk about videos and movies?
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm a big fan of like the content I put out is exactly what I want to watch. So
That's a good way to put it. I like that.
yeah. I mean,
Click, I hear your camera dying. Is that you?
I just restarted real quick, real smooth. I was doing it super smooth.
No, I had to call it out, man.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
man.
Gigi. Please
All
go
I
right,
ahead.
didn't
you
notice
go.
if it means anything. But
Oh,
no, yeah, I want to
No, but
watch.
that's
I want to watch what I am a fan of. So like if I don't like my own videos, then what the fuck's the point?
That's fair.
I think that's a very good key for anyone on YouTube, really. I think anyone who starts YouTube with a different passion than that probably don't stay in the game too long. I've had so many people reach out to me and say things like, "Okay, what's the best way to make money on YouTube? Like, how do you do the cash?" It's like, well, fam, you're gonna be burned out in a month if you do it for the cash. It needs to start as a passion. That's like the bottom line for anyone I know who has done YouTube.
Yeah, if you don't
if you
care
look
about
at
it,
your own-
why should anyone else?
Yeah, exactly. And YouTube isn't always that much. I mean, it isn't always fun in the professional sense. I mean, you have challenges. So if you don't love your content in the core, that stuff is going to wear you down fast.
I mean, especially with money, I feel like that's a fucking dead end if that's what you're going in for. Like,
Yeah.
especially now because you have to get approved through so many things, and then you might
So
not
many
even get
steps.
monetized beyond that. And then even if you fucking do that, let's say you reach that threshold when you get paid out for 1 month, you might not get paid out again for another couple months if you're not hitting that threshold. So
Yep,
it's like,
true.
dude, do not go in for that. You are not going to make a steady fucking income at all for a while.
I have a real
No, it
respect
takes-
for the way that you tackle having sponsors on your videos.
You're the third person to
there's
say
some
that today, and I'm very happy to hear that.
There's some that perhaps don't have as stellar of a reputation in the community for different sponsorships on videos, where I've seen some that will do like the most blasé read a script. For yourself, you make a sketch or a skit for each one, and it gives a lot more personality to it. So even if I'm not
Oh,
going out
yeah.
there to download the product or to play a very specific game that I'll leave unnamed here, I still enjoy the interaction that you have with your audience about it. And I think that itself brings a little bit more value than just the ad read.
No, I really, I don't want the video to come to a grinding halt, as many ad reads do, where you're just like, okay, I don't care, I get it. Yeah, dark fantasy RPG. Let's fucking move on. I want to give you something out of it. I know you don't want to watch it. I know you want to skip it, but here, I'm gonna make something stupid. I'm gonna shoot myself in this corner and talk about it while I do it. And then if you're fucking entertained enough to be like, and then you didn't even realize it passed, you're like, okay, cool. And there's no issue. They're happy, the sponsor's happy, and everybody wins.
When you play two people, that always kills me. Because you got like what seems to be your real personality, and then what it seems like your entertainment personality. That really comes across. I love that. I know we've been speaking to a few different sponsors lately. One of them we're actually moving forwards with. A couple others, not as much, but it's really interesting to see which ones kind of work with your content and which ones just want their products out there.
Yes.
It's cool that you can create like a personal connection with these different companies. Like, who's your favorite that you've worked with? If you do want to give like a free plug.
Ooh.
Oh.
All right. I
Spicy.
might have to ask for a check after this one, but no. Everybody's.
okay.
I've worked with a lot of great sponsors. I'm not gonna lie. Everybody's been very great, very flexible. I love. If you're a sponsor, I love if you give me just creative freedom. Let me just do whatever the fuck I want with this ad. Let me say whatever I want, as long as I deliver the main guidelines that you need or whatever, and I talk about the promo code. Like, I love that shit. But when people are like, can you take that part out? Or like, can you edit that a little bit? It's like, you're fucking up the sauce. The sauce is there. I'm helping you. That's what
Just
gets
let me
under-
help you.
Yeah. Fleshlight was great to work with. Because
I have not seen that ad
Really?
read.
You
What?
need to watch
Which video is that
ad.
on?
It is iconic. It is talked
Oh.
about.
Plug your video. Which one is it on?
It's the video's called, what the hell is it called? It's called Why Twitter Brand Can't Win or something like that. Here, I'll link
Okay.
it in this chat right here. One sec.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, link
okay.
it.
For
Perfect.
anyone who's listening, we're going to include it in the description below. Click while you're editing. There's a note for you.
So,
yeah, but that's done after the edit, so it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, of course.
We'll do that.
Of course.
no, but they were great to work with because number one, first of all, working with Fleshlight, fucking amazing. That was just a dream
How
come
does-
true for me.
How does that work with YouTube? Because in my experience, YouTube has been kind of rough on the more like naughty aspects of content. Were they fine with it, or was the video like demonetized in itself or something like that?
See, you say that, but that video's monetized.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, so...
Well, YouTube might be a little naughty when you really want it to.
Well, okay, what I did is the video's called Why Brand Twitter Can Never Win. And it doesn't... I don't say anything about Fleshlight in the title. At least I didn't when it first got uploaded, right? So I genuinely have a video idea, and I'm going about it. And then for the second half of the video, I unbox Fleshlights. So I kind of Trojan horse that one in. And then after I saw it was monetized, I just put Fleshlight unboxing in parentheses in the title, and it works fine.
Oh my god! Oh, it's in the thumbnail too. Oh, I just saw it pop up. Oh my god,
That is
that's
beautiful.
so funny.
I love that. I love that.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, I love it.
I mean, you would be surprised, maybe not surprised. That ad has had the most people reach out to me and be like, "Yo, appreciate that promo code, my guy." Like, yo, I took advantage of that 10% off. That most people by far tell me that they picked up a Fleshlight.
I just recently learned what they were. I think I was recording a video with Click, and he told me about them. But yeah, it's like a very underrepresented market. It's really cool that you're so open about promoting products like that.
Oh, I love it. I wish more would reach out to me like that.
Yeah. Based on your thumbnail there, what do you think about Wendy's fiery Twitter?
I thought when they first popped up, I thought it was fucking genius, and whoever that was needed the biggest raise possible because everybody was talking about Wendy's.
Yes.
Are they still on top of their game, or have we not checked in on them for a while?
They're still somewhat the same. Yeah. I think they took like a break for some reason, but it's still kind of the same. And like now they're like Wendy's is streaming on Twitch, and they're like challenging speedrunners to like complete levels and shit. Yeah, they're doing a whole thing.
Wow.
I think they're still doing it right. You know.
They're like the good version of, Hello Fellow Kids. It's it's really impressive. Don't be skeptical here. I'm trying to get us a sponsor here. Topic.
Okay. From Wendy's?
I don't know if
Okay.
I love Baconators.
Sure.
Exactly.
They have
there you go.
Cold dessert items that are good.
You're not selling this.
I don't know their products.
Oh, well.
I know they're a fast food chain. I don't really eat a lot of fast food. I'm sorry. Sorry, Wendy's. If you sponsor us, I promise I'll eat your bacon.
Baconator.
Stop.
Baconator. I'll eat your Baconator.
Baconator. Oh, yeah. Wendy's Baconator in a place near you. You can put that, it melts in your mouth. Oh, yeah. Swallow that whole thing, boy. Yum.
Put the mid-roll right here.
Oh, that's beautiful.
What's your least favorite thing to either talk about or hear about on a podcast?
Talk about or hear about?
Oh yeah,
At least
like
no flashlights.
Like painful to either struggle through trying to convey yourself, or something painful to listen through on a podcast you've got running for you. An example for me would be like someone like sipping through something, or discussing something a little bit more.
when you're actually listening to a
podcast.
related.
Okay, I didn't quite understand your question. But if
I left it very broad.
Yeah, if that's what you're talking about, I cannot stand a chewing sound, somebody eating on a podcast. I can't even deal with it in real life. If someone's chewing next to me, I always have to have sound in the background when we eat. I cannot fucking handle it. I will stop listening to the podcast.
Oh, dude, that is so painful. I feel you. We've talked about this previously, Click. We did a whole podcast on like bad coworkers, but
yes, indeed.
Yeah, people that make it like throaty nasal noises nearby, and you can't get away because you have to do your job, but they like sit so close to you, and how do they not know they're doing it? But the difference with a podcast is that you then go back and listen to that audio and have to edit it. How do you edit that and leave that in? Chewing sounds. That's rough. That's rough. So
maybe they're trying to sell it, do an ASMR crossover with it, like podcast ASMR. It's like, welcome to podcast.
Oh God, stop!
It's like
All right,
mukbang.
yeah, I left that broad to see if you
Yes,
wanted to pick
mukbang
up
ASMR podcast. Topic is a good second channel.
I left it up to your interpretation mostly for that to see if you'd pick up on and choose like, oh, I hate this specific topic being talked about. But I'm also good with mouth sounds equals bad. That's a great answer. Do you have pets? Do you have a dog?
I do have a dog. I have a very cute husky.
Oh, that is the best.
Does your husky ever make it into the videos? For some reason, I got rattling image in the back of my head of you having a dog.
He's had a few she's had a few cameos. Yeah, not a lot, but a few.
Okay. Ah, that's so cool. How do you find the balance of, like, you have a bit of a home life. Like, how do you find the balance of having a home life, and an animal, a pet, and also trying to balance YouTube as I assume your full-time job? I think it is.
YouTube, yeah. YouTube is my full-time job.
Gotcha.
If YouTube wasn't my full-time job, man, you don't even fucking... YouTube would suck. Don't bother, dude. 500-something thousand subs and still not your full-time job. That's why you don't be a YouTuber, kids. Don't do it.
Yeah, it's less glamorous than you think it is.
Mm-hmm. Like, I finally making a consistent income. Thank you. No, thank you, sponsors. Fuck AdRev. Fuck AdRev. Thank you, sponsors. No, but you know, it's all tough to balance. I still struggle with it every single day, dude. It's trying to balance your work life, spending time with my girlfriend, spending time with my daughter, keeping the house under control. It's fucked. I feel like it's never going to be perfect, but you have to try and work it as best as you can.
Sounds reasonable. What would you say are some of the best things and some of the worst things about having YouTube as a job?
Best things is the flexibility. You can, if you want to take a day off, you technically can, and you can dick around and play Fortnite all day, and it doesn't really matter. No one's gonna know. There's no supervisor. No one's breathing down your neck. It's great.
That's true. Yeah.
The worst part is you lack so much structure in life now. I feel like when I went to my warehouse job, it made sense. You wake up at this time, you get there, you come back, and then you do whatever the fuck you want. But now it's not that anymore. There's no structure in my life. I wake up, sometimes I wake up late, sometimes I have late breakfast, sometimes I work on a video this late into the day. So it's all fucked. I feel like you need structure. It kind of sucks without structure, especially, and then you get in this quarantine lifestyle, and now you don't know what the fuck to do because you can't leave the house either.
No, I can't tell the weekdays apart anymore. It's like I don't even know which day it is.
Bleeding together.
It's, for example, I was typing out an email, was it like 2 days ago? And I was like, I hope they reply today. And my girlfriend's like leaning over, man, it's Saturday, and it's also like the Easter weekend. Like, oh, yeah, right. But I feel that was the good thing about having a day job. It was your life is much more in small blocks almost. It's like, here's your block, here you are at work, then you come home, and then you're completely disconnected from work. It's easy to switch off. And then you have an approximate hour you go to bed, and then you have the cycle, and then the weekend is a bit more messy, but then it's also about only 2 days long, so you get back in that cycle very fast.
Yeah.
Now it's just, my God.
I think the only thing that's keeping me really regular with what day of the week it is having to check the schedule for Sad Milk. We've got a collaborative project with a bunch of other YouTubers where we react to different memes and then make silly voices and then make a video out of it. And and it's been going quite well, but we keep like a rough schedule of which days of the week we're going to record on. So each week I'm like, oh, right, today's Saturday. I got to show up for recording. But otherwise, it all bleeds together now, especially with, we've been locked down a few weeks longer over here because I'm over in Canada. So it started like late February where everything started shutting down. So I've been inside for too long.
I was gonna say the best thing you do to keep your sleep schedule intact is not to have one.
Yes, it cycles. I'll be honest. Like sometimes, like if I'm waking up at dinner time, then a week later I'll be waking up at breakfast time. It all works out eventually.
Oh dear God.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's like how Einstein used to sleep. Of course.
All right. Okay, so I mean, I like comparing us to Einstein. It's a fair comparison, you know. YouTubers, Einstein, it's about the same kind of, yeah.
How are you feeling about the way you've tackled the Chris Hansen drama lately?
Oh, yeah.
Because from my perspective, I'll let you think for a moment before you tackle that, because I realize it's a lot to drop all at once. But I've really appreciated your perspective on it. You've been really fair. You've shown both sides, if there is one. You've given us all a lot of information that we can then digest with your opinion added, rather than the opinion being the main focus with the information as kind of like side pieces. So I've appreciated that. I'm just curious if that's an avenue you're going to continue down, if you're going to keep diving into that area, or if you have any thoughts about it generally.
Yeah. Who was the guy you brought up? Chris? Chris who?
Oh, no.
Yeah, Chris Russell.
Oh, no. Okay. I could leave that be, I guess.
I already brought him up earlier in the podcast. It doesn't matter. I already dropped the ball on that. No, I mean, as of right now, I'm off it. I've completely distanced myself from that. A massive reason why I made some of my more recent videos talking about Chris and Vince is because they were just... Vince specifically was like bullying smaller channels, taking down their content, people that I was familiar with, that I've spoken with, that make fair use content that didn't deserve to have their content taken down. And that's really why I would make such a big fucking fuss about it, is because it's just people I was familiar with. It was bullshit. And Vince is specifically a piece of shit. It was difficult to navigate with Chris being the head of that, because people didn't like when I talked about Chris. People didn't care about Vince. I could shit all over him because people started to understand, okay, he's the bad guy, very much so. But it was a thing where you have to look at Chris and whether he was complicit in a lot of the things that were going on, or as people would tell me, oh, he's just a boomer. He had no idea what the hell was going on this entire time. So that was difficult to navigate. And I tried to avoid that as much as possible until I just felt like I had to give my personal thoughts on Chris's involvement in things. And he later issued an apology, which I thought was nice. And I think that was kind of like the nice thing to wrap this up for me to fuck off. So, yeah.
That's a good way to put it. Nice little bookend to it. I did appreciate how much comedy you brought to it when you were diving into Vince. As kind of like a dark area of the internet, some of the things were less than positive, but you brought a positive spin to it, so I appreciate the way you covered that.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, it's all good. Are you playing video games now? Like when you're stuck inside? You mentioned Fortnite.
Yeah, I'm trying to get more into gaming now since I finally have like a PC that can handle gaming. So I'm trying to slowly get back into it. But I know it's been a bit of a drug for me in the past, where it definitely, butts into my work. So I don't want to have that happen. But I do want to start gaming again.
I mean, back in the day, I used to game competitively, so it used to be my entire life. Click used to stream games. He used to do a lot of Let's Plays. It's an interesting niche. It's something we're definitely diving back into now. We're playing a lot of horror games. One of them is called The Forest. Is that one you've gone into before?
Oh,
I've never heard of The Forest.
Ooh.
It's like a small, it's an indie horror game. Basically, the whole game starts off with you crash landing on an island, and you have to survive, build your shelters, fireplaces, you hunt animals for food, you grill them, that kind of stuff. And eventually you start noticing things moving in the forest, and suddenly you see a naked human standing in the woods just staring at you. And eventually he brings his friends over, and turns out this entire island is infested with cannibals that try to hunt you down. And it's just very much this
spooky
thrill element. Yeah, because, when night times comes around, it's pitch dark, it's a tropical island, so, you don't see anything. And, you have these cannibals running out with torches, hunting you in the night.
Yeah. You gotta sneak around
it's
and
really
not die.
good.
Build your little sleeping area. Build any structures that'll come by and knock them down. It's very spooky. Yeah, it was released initially like 6-7 years ago or something, and they've just released like the polished version of it, and it's choice.
Yeah, it's been like beta development for a long time. When me and my friends played it for the first time, we found out that the best source of food was killing cannibals.
You have a favorite horror game there?
Can I be honest with you guys for a second?
Oh yeah.
Yes, just lean into the
I'm-
ASMR. Just,
I'm an absolute pussy when it comes to horror games.
Oh,
and
no.
I can't play them for that reason.
Oh, okay. Are
We
you
won't-
into
we
Animal
won't tell
Crossing
anyone.
then? I know that's been the popular one lately.
Which one?
Animal Crossing?
No.
That
is
not
kinda your
Animal
style?
Crossing.
my nerves can't handle that.
I tried playing
It's too-
Outlast one time and I couldn't. I couldn't.
Oh no.
I must have got like 20 minutes into the game off of several pauses. I couldn't. I'm too much of a pussy, honestly.
Did you get to the basement part where you're kind of like running around in the dark and there's a guy chasing you?
Dude, no. As soon as
Oh my god.
Okay. It's about 20 minutes in. That's where I stopped as well.
no,
Jesus Christ.
like early in the beginning where the guy in the wheelchair jumps at you.
Yeah.
Like 3 minutes after that, I was done with the fucking game.
Oh no. That's so soon. Oh no.
I am
Okay.
I am a timid boy when it comes to horror games, dude. I can't do it.
That's fair, man. That's
Oh
fair.
man. Well, the forest is a good tip if you want to try to get into it, because the fact in the forest that makes it a bit less scary is that the enemies are actually killable. So you have more of a sense of control in that game.
And
it
it's
can still
multiplayer. So you can
it
have
is
someone watch
multiplayer.
your back if you play with friends.
That's a big thing that I think makes a huge difference.
bonus.
Because that's something
Yeah.
I hate about like
Yes.
Outlast is I just have nothing. I
Mm.
can't shoot. I can't attack. You just have to run and hide. I hate that shit. I hate the thought of it. I'd rather play like a
Yeah.
Resident Evil where I have a nice shotgun and I can do what I have to do.
Zombie games, Dying Light, amazing horror game if you play it solo, and then a really fun cooperative game if you have friends. You can play through the entire campaign. It's very complex. It's incredibly long, but it's so well developed. It's probably, in my opinion, the best zombie game that's ever come out.
Oh shit.
Yeah, how did you describe it? Like a good version of Dead Island.
Yeah, it's like everything that
Yeah.
Dead Island should have been. Plus multiplayer. And that
Oh, yes.
I don't even play solo anymore. It's awesome. It's the exact same story. There's no real differences other than you get to play with friends. So if a zombie bites you, you've got someone else looking out for you. Gigi, I'm noticing the time there. Are you waiting for things to wrap up? How you feeling?
I don't want to be the guy where I'm like, hey guys, like, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
I'm noticing you get a little bit quieter, but I realize you do have other commitments. So if
Well,
you need
yeah,
to
I'm
bow
kinda-
out at this time, that's totally fine.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking over, keeping in contact with the next podcast person. Like maybe they were like still setting up stuff, so I was like, okay, I can hang around here a little bit longer. But like, it's a great conversation. This is a great podcast, guys. So I really do hate to
appreciate
fucking stop it. Honestly,
No, it's all good. This is a great point to close things off. Is right around
Very
when you
natural.
need to ship out for something else. So yeah, we can do a bit of an outro now. Click and I will stay afterwards. For anyone who's still watching the podcast, we'll stay afterwards to do a bit of a bonus clip as well. Of course, then we'll edit it, upload it and whatnot. But Gigi, this was really generous of you to not just
Yeah,
for
it's very nice
us
to
and
have you.
whatnot, but for across like 80 different podcasts that you're showing up for lately. That's really cool of you to help bring everyone together at a time where we're all kind of stuck inside, not really doing much.
Indeed.
No, I've
Other
been
than YouTubers who are still doing the same job.
yeah, pretty much. No, but I've been having a great time talking to everybody, dude. So I'm happy I'm doing it. I'm happy you guys had me on.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to have you back in the future if that ever arises again, if you ever feel like doing a spree of a billion podcasts again.
know
If
what?
there's ever a
I'll-
second quarantine in the future.
I'll tell you guys. I'll tell you guys right here and right now. I am down to come back.
I appreciate
Ooh.
that. So yeah,
Nice.
we'll
Very
give
nice
you
to
some
hear.
time to recuperate, especially to catch back up on your workload, especially since you burned a whole workday on this.
Yeah. I feel like my
Yeah,
voice
feel free
is
to hit us
slowly
up.
starting to go too, honestly. But
No.
Oh, I can. That is mood.
yeah.
All right, Gigi. Well,
All right. Yeah.
thanks a ton for being here. Get out of here.
All right.
Yes.
I'll see
Yes.
you guys.
Everyone,
Thank you
subscribe
for
to
having me on.
Gigi. If you have an outro or thing you want to plug at the end, feel free. But other than that,
Indeed.
Subscribe, MistaGG, MistaGG space GG on everything, and also show these guys some love.
Oh, nice.
all this
We
details are in
love
the
all the
description.
love. Yes.
All right, click.
All links in
Roll the
description.
outro.
Okay.
Should I pull the outro? Oh, right. Thank you, everyone at home, for watching the Ship Podcast with me and one topic at a time, and our special guest, Mr. GD. All the links can be found in the description, and we hope to see you in the bonus episode for the Patreon. Have a wonderful day, night time, or what time is you live, and we will see you in the next one. Take care. Mwah.